Somebody says smash that like button. Yes, please. Please.
Hey, on a real note though, thank you guys for the support. Do hit the like button because by doing that, this video and information will get out to more people. The only reason I made life-changing gains in Hex was because the YouTube algorithm showed me a video about Hex. So you never know just by that small gesture hitting the like button who you might bless with life-changing gains from receiving this information. So how high can the price go? All right, I have a very good clip of Richard talking about Hex. Right, Hex is 2 years old. It's had 10,000x returns from its lowest point. People think they've missed the boat on Hex, right? But after you see this clip, Richard talking about it, I think you might reconsider that. Furthermore, don't know what is happening here. A few general things. This is the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. It's called Total 2. And I don't know why, but the market cap is normally around 1 trillion and it wicked all the way up to 4 trillion. So not sure what's going on here, but I saw that and was a little bit alarmed. Also, I just saw this story randomly. Hexacans are good people. It's a very warm-hearted community, and this was a warm-hearted story. You guys know there was a tsunami in Tonga, and this guy is 57 years old. He survived 27 hours after getting swept away at sea. Found that interesting, and I wanted to just at least give this guy a shout-out. What a legend. Imagine being 57 years old and swimming for 27 hours straight. Also, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. One of the biggest crypto exchanges, crypto.com, confirms that a bunch of people were hacked. Just a daily reminder, keep your security on a cold wallet and keep it secure. The monthly interest on a bank account with $100,000 wouldn't even cover a Netflix subscription. So the beauty of Hex is the yield, right? Yeah, Hex has outperformed a lot of tokens and the price appreciation is great, but the yield is where it's really amazing. And if you think about $100,000 is a lot of money to a lot of people, and the interest you get on that wouldn't even cover a Netflix subscription. Whereas Hex, the worst interest you get is 12%, right? I talked to a semi-famous rapper recently about Pulsechain and Hex. He actually has a video with over 50 million views on YouTube. So like a big influencer. And they immediately picked up on the interest of Hex. They were like, so if Hex doesn't go up at all, do I get that interest fixed forever? And I was like, yep, it's a mutable smart contract. The interest is built in. You'll get that same amount of interest every day as long as you're staked. And that's really the beauty of Hex. Now, really quickly, a few things about Pulsechain and Hex. How high can Pulse go? Shout out to Mandalorian for this tweet. Even if Pulsechain.com launched empty like ETH forks did, look at the average. And this is kind of like my last video where I compared previous DEXs, their performance to Pulse. A 656x in 1.4 years. This is before the system state addition and the fine-tuned token mechanics that only come with RH products. The system is designed to pump itself. It's game over. And then we see here the lowest return out of any of these was CeeLo with a 14x, and the highest was FTM Phantom with a 2000x in 1.4 or in about 1.4 years. So that's if Pulsechain launched empty. And Pulsechain is launching full, copying the entire system state. So all these ETH forks did not have the Richard Heart game theory. They all launched empty for the most part, and they had insane returns, right? Furthermore, PulseX has the buy and burn token feature, where every transaction on Pulsechain, a portion of that transaction fee will go back to buy the supply and burn it. A buy and burn simply will just dry up supply, which will pump the price. Also, shout out K4K Crypto. He's been blowing up. He should be blowing up because he provides excellent content. So shout out to this guy. And this Twitter thread was absolutely exciting to read. Okay, get this information. If PulseX has 180 billion in volume, seems like a lot, in 180 days, which is what PancakeSwap did, right? PancakeSwap is the PulseX equivalent on Binance Smart Chain. That equates to 100 plus million in potential buyback and burn. If we assume 10 million liquidity and no one at all bought or sold Hex, that 100 million would 400x the price. Now, this would be a good question for the comments. What do you guys think about 10 million liquidity assumption? This is around the liquidity of Hex, and Richard has talked about low liquidity is good for a price because yes, the price can dump easier, but the price will pump much more easier as well. So there's more volatility with low liquidity, but what do you guys think about his estimate of 10 million liquidity for PulseX? Price in the automated market makers move as a square. So if you double one side, you 4x the price of the other side. So if the liquidity is 10 million, each side is 5 million, 100 million is 20x 5 million. So the price of PulseX goes up a square of 20, which is 400x. This is assuming a somewhat high starting liquidity, and also a very unlikely scenario where no one is buying or selling. It would move the price even more if less liquid and less if more liquid. So if there's more than 10 million liquidity, the price wouldn't move as much. Just wrapping it up now. As people take profit along the way, that pushes the price down as well. But eventually the coins land in someone's hands that won't sell them for a long time. That's when price really ratchets up. And considering how much of this community is based in Hex and how Pulsechain and Hex are very closely related, a lot of people are already diamond hands. A lot of Hexacans know the value in Richard Heart projects and aren't really looking to sell at a 2x or a 10x, right? So a lot of coins are already, I think the either top 10 or top 100 sacrifice addresses already hold like 80 or 90% of the total Pulse supply. And if you were a top 100 sacrificer, you either missed Hex and are an Ethereum whale, or you're rich off Hex, and you're definitely, I don't know many people that have made life-changing money off Hex that are looking to just sell Pulse at a 2x, right? This would take the price of PulseX if liquidity was added at the price of 0.001. This is our sacrificing price. To 0.04 in 6 months if no one did anything but just add initial liquidity. And this just illustrates how much potential this buy and burn has, right? The big assumption here is 10 million in liquidity, but a 400x in 6 months potentially, give or take a little bit or a lot, absolutely bonkers. So shout out to K4K Crypto for that. And guys, people are still sacrificing. If you sacrificed at that 10,000 tokens per dollar rate, it's about half of that now, around 4,000 to 5,000 tokens per dollar. And people, you see this person 13 minutes ago sacrificed $4,000. A lot of these amounts are pretty small, but it's just bullish to see that people are still sacrificing even though the rate isn't as good as it was. And now for the Richard Heart clip, all right? How high can the price actually get?
Explain how the market will decide the price for Pulse. Well, people trade it. Some people buy, some people sell. Price moves. I don't understand that question. So like a market gets created. It doesn't really matter what that initial price is because people are going to trade against it and move it around anyway. And so like supply and demand and the market finds prices. How do you think everything on Uniswap found its price? Like same method. So I think Hex could do another 1000x easily. I mean, look,
I think Hex could do another 1000x easily. That'd make Richard a trillionaire.
Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin did 6.5 million X. Hex did 1,000,000% on only 75,000 active stakers. That is not many stakers, guys. We're really, really early. Nobody has heard about us yet. So like, let me ask you this. If you think that somehow market cap is too high and it's some type of like limit, well then what happens when you on-ramp 10 times more users? So when Hex has 10 times more users than it has today, how are you going to prevent the price from going up? Average lock time, 6.1 years. People buy it and they lock it on average 6.1 years. How are you going to like, I don't think that you can stop the price from going up when you're on-ramping new users. And we on-ramp new users every day. So and by the way, if you wanted to remove $500 million of Hex off the market and you had $500 million, you couldn't do it because you'd slide the price against yourself. But the sacrifice method got $500 million of Hex off the market into an address that apparently never sells it. Chain analysis would indicate that that address, either the sacrifice addresses, has never sold a Hex. So,
yeah, a lot of good points there. Talking about a supply shrink, the supply sink, $500 million in Hex. It's really genius game theory. Not only did Richard create the best crypto over the past 2 years, but he convinced people to send him back $1 billion, basically, of it, $500 million. And the price doesn't adjust immediately to that. I think over time, we will see as the supply and the liquidity shrinks up, then it'll ratchet the price maybe a little bit faster. But people don't really realize how bullish that is for $500 million of the token supply to be sent to an address that has never sold Hex, right? 75,000 stakers is not a lot of stakers. You see these projects like SafeMoon and Shiba Inu having over 1 million holders. We're still very early to Hex. And you consider that the documentary coming out, I don't know if you've seen the Highest of Stakes trailer, but the documentary trailer looks absolutely amazing. Imagine the potential if that made it to a big studio like Netflix or Amazon Prime. And a lot of people in crypto generally don't know about Hex. I would say it's growing and starting to get more mainstream in crypto, but a lot of people I've talked to who know, surface level crypto stuff, they know Ethereum, they know Bitcoin, Cardano, we've seen kind of come into the mainstream in the past year. A lot of people still don't know Hex. So pat yourselves on the back. You're new. There's a lot of potential here with Pulse and Hex. And thank you guys for watching. If you're still watching this video, comment cheese enchilada below. All right, I love cheese enchiladas. I never really ate them until this year, but man, I love me some good cheese enchiladas. And if you comment that, I know you watched the full video. That helps the channel out a lot. So who are my #1 supporters? Comment cheese enchilada. God bless you all. Hope you guys have a great week. I really do love you guys and appreciate the support. Love this community. And until next time.